Nice Speech Lady. Useful resources for medical SLPs. Created by one who is just like you out in the field. Creative, practical, evidence-based resources. Building up, learning from one another.
Hello, my name is Wilson Nice. I'm a speech pathologist, and you have reached Nice Speech Lady. This is our little show we have on YouTube where I talk about new things going on in the industry from the speech language pathology realm. And we have a clinic here in Socorro, New Mexico. We also have virtual offices in North Carolina, and we see patients all throughout the state of New Mexico virtually here in New Mexico. And I also make materials that are handouts and testing guides and patient rating outcome measures and other types of intake forms and other things for speech therapists to use in a variety of settings, most of them medical and also outpatient. We also have some pediatric resources, so please check out Nice Speech Lady. Thank you for joining us today. I have a really awesome guest calling in from Canada. And we're going to be talking about tools for speech therapists that have startup companies or speech therapists that are looking to send information electronically, and you want to make sure that it's secure and portable and also safe and private. So please stay tuned for that interview that I'm having with a sales representative from Hushmail. Before we do that, let's jump over to Nice Speech Lady. And I would love to be able to just take you to the website and just show you some new information that we have going on at the site. And at Nice Speech Lady, we make all of our resources available to speech therapists all throughout the world. It's not anything that you have to sign up for with a subscription or anything of that nature. It's something that we just make available. So I wanted to talk about the newest resource that I have. And there's actually a printout it's a printable PDF, and it's talking about doing a technology check. So if you work for a hybrid clinic, that actually provides virtual services, you can actually receive, this technology check-in topics list and use it in your practice. So here at Nice Speech Lady, we do see patients virtually, and if there's someone that we're not sure how they would really do in the virtual realm, we always do a technology check. And so I've made this resource here that talks about kind of how we at Nice Speech Lady organize our technology checks. And I'll just kind of go through this here. We introduce ourselves to the family. Of course, prior to this, we'll have, received their email so that we could send them the link and all of those things for this technology check. Then what you're going to want to do is talk about what the technology check is for. And the technology check is not only to see how the person will do in a virtual format, it's also to see if the technology in terms of bandwidth and the signal is going to be sufficient on both ends to have visits on a regular basis. So normally I introduce myself. I'd say, we actually kind of have a face-to-face in the virtual world connection. We talk about what the needs are for the patient. We talk about eligibility. In the US for speech therapists, the standard of care needs to meet or exceed what could be provided in person if we provide it virtually. So, and talking about the state-specific guidelines for different types of therapy that speech therapists will provide. So that all has to kind of be discussed. It's a great time to talk about it when you're doing a virtual technology check. You want to verify that the connection is adequate. And then if not, find the workarounds to that. Discuss the process of support if there is a need for troubleshooting, and provide opportunity for the care partner who is there if it's a minor or someone who needs a care partner to be there, and then other kinds of topics. Showing and demonstrating the anatomy of the technology tools. I always like to show people how to mute, how to unmute, how to start the camera, how to stop the camera, how to use chat if your EMR has a chat feature. And if you use more than one camera, like we do here at Nice Speech Lady, I actually sometimes have 3 cameras going: my document camera, my face camera, and then my mouth cam, which can go really into my mouth. And so those type of things are kind of checked. Um, uh, Talking about using whiteboards or using online videos or different types of technologies that are interactive. I like to always have a visual signal in place so that if the sound isn't available, you have a quick way, to say that you can't hear someone. Of course, there is the chat box as well. And then talking about making sure the devices are fully charged, talking about what device they're using. A tablet or a laptop would be preferable over a phone. So talking about all of those topics, checking the video quality, looking at the connection, letting them know how to use speakers if they need speakers or if they need headphones, and reviewing the whatever the policy is of the agency in terms of if minors need supervision during the video visit. At Nice Speech Lady, we do require that for minors or those who have qualities that are similar to minors. Determine if the patient has the attention skills to participate in a video visit. Determine if the care partner is able to follow directions so that if there's a troubleshooting need, there's something that can be done. Finding a quiet area without distractions, a private area so that no one else is hearing what is going on. And then if they do go away from their home location, what other locations would be possible, in talking about specifics per state, and talk about the licensure requirements of the therapist. Talking about some options for troubleshooting, such as muting the sound and only having the video going, and then having a phone call used for the audio side to reduce the signal and the amount of bandwidth required for the EMR platform. And then also talking about using a backup hotspot, and talking about how weather might affect the signal or other factors. And then after that, you may want to do a little screening, not an evaluation, of course, but you find out enough to know if you'd be able to serve this patient in all likelihood on the virtual side, or if maybe an in-person evaluation needs to occur one time, and then you go from there. And then you talk about insurance and scheduling parameters and pre-auth and all that stuff. And then talk about the intake and the consent forms, and then how you communicate once visits start between visits. If you use a portal or if you use another platform. And then, so all of this is kind of listed. It's also a great time to get the opportunity to ask questions about the process, other options if they're not wanting to pursue the technology route in terms of a virtual visit. So this is a 6-page resource. As you can see, this last page has tons of space for other notes, and that is just something that I've made available on the website. Please check it out and feel free to use it in your own practice.
Hi, this is Walt Fritz from Foundations and Manual Therapy Seminars. I'm deeply grateful for the excellent work Wilson Nice has done creating the many resources offered at the Nice Speech Lady website. Wilson's been a strong supporter of my work, and I'm honored to return the favor. I've been teaching manual therapy to speech pathologists since 2013, and every year the classes I teach grow and mature and become more relevant to the many disorders you work with. One new feature that I offer is a free peer-to-peer video series intended to help the new learner understand how to incorporate manual therapy into their clinical encounters. This growing series is available on my website, along with dozens of relevant podcasts I've done with leaders in your field. My in-person classes are approachable even to those with no prior experience using touch-based interventions, and there is online version or options as well. I use a unique model in the manual therapy field as I see patient input as a crucial component of our encounters. This model better fits today's evidence-driven world and simplifies applying the work because our patients help us help them. You can learn more about the work and the seminars I teach at waltfritz.com. You'll also find a complete reference list there. I hope to see you at a future class.
And now we will transfer over to the interview portion of our show today. Today we have Steph Milne, a sales manager at Hushmail. She's been with Hushmail for 8 years, starting off as one of the billing specialists, moving into customer care, and then now into sales. She's used her experience across the different teams to learn as much as she can about Hushmail and how to best help Hushmail users. They are based in Canada. She moved from the big city of Vancouver, where Hushmail has their head office, to a small town in Saskatchewan. She often travels to the US to attend healthcare conferences and meet with future Hushmail leaders. And I want to welcome to the show Steph Milne. How are you doing today?
Hi, great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to have this experience today.
Thank you. I know we've had this talk set up for a couple of weeks, and I have to show you. This is your name in the International Phonetic Alphabet. We
There
have
we go.
Steph Mill, and you're in Saskatchewan. And so I can take a picture of this and send it to you if you'd like.
Yeah, no, that's so interesting. I've never seen it written out like that before.
Yeah, it's our, I guess, our secret language, you could say.
Yeah, your superpower.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of superpowers, I'm so excited to talk about Hushmail. What is Hushmail? When you have an elevator speech, when you have people ask you what do you say Hushmail is?
So Hushmail is a one-stop shop, all secure email and communication platform. So we do specialize in HIPAA compliance, meaning we want to help you communicate with your clients in a secure, safe, but also simple way.
Yes, and I have to tell you, we have signed up for Hushmail ourselves at our practice here at Nice Speech Lady, and I have been asking for my husband because he's our, one of our technology people. We have to get HIPAA level compliant encryption email. Not we've had encryption, but not to the level of HIPAA compliance standards. And I've been asking him, for really over 18 months because I knew we needed it because not everyone is able to use a portal like on an
Mhm.
EMR. Not everyone, feels comfortable. Even if they could do it, they don't really feel comfortable. And then sometimes there are barriers. Like if you have a family that has multiple children, there could,
Mhm.
it's not possible. You have to have a workaround.
Yeah.
So I've been really happy with Hushmail. I have to tell you, I accidentally, the first few weeks I had it, I kept calling it Hush Money.
We've heard it all. Yeah.
I told my husband, well, okay, well, let's get you set up on a Hush Money. He's like, what are you talking about? But I know there are a lot of really cool features, and I'm just still kind of trying to learn it all.
Mhm.
But I love being able to say, in my EMR, instead of using the portal, this document was sent. And it seems in our system easier to send a document through Hushmail than through the portal, and people are able to open it easier.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about, what speech therapists need to know about Hushmail and why would even need it in the overall package of, how they manage their cybersecurity at their
Mhm.
work, or if they have a startup clinic, or if someone's in a related field to speech therapy? Like, why would people even want to have this, and what kind of problems does it solve?
Yeah, so you definitely hit the nail on the head there. Hushmail is really simple to use, and we do specialize in that encryption. And there's so many other softwares, EMRs, and portals in the service industry right now that are super confusing. And it sets a really bad tone for secure and HIPAA compliant communication. But HIPAA is so important. You, as a speech pathologist, you have a duty of care to your clients, and they're expecting you to keep that information secure. That's all of their private, their vulnerable information. It's up to you to make sure that you're doing your best to keep that information private and secure. So Hushmail is a really great option as we do offer all of those specialties. So we're secure, encrypted, HIPAA compliant email. but we're a really simple solution. So we offer that back and forth email communication without needing to go to all these special websites or remember special codes. So it is a really great option for anyone looking to have that communication with their clients.
Yeah, and I've just been learning about, using the fillable forms because my EMR doesn't have a fillable form. And how
Mhm.
we've used it is I create the fillable forms and I take it from, our consent forms and our intake forms, and I just copy and paste it in, and I make the form, email it to the person, they fill it out, they sign it, and then when I get it back, I go to print, I PDF it, and then I save it, you know, and eventually it goes into the EMR, and rather than having to, send something through the mail for people that can't
Mhm.
do the traditional portal ways, or for people that don't have a fax machine, especially for us, because we have a virtual component. We see people
Yeah.
not in our area. And so it's great. I really like the fillable forms, and they're so customizable. What I like the most about Hushmail though is that it is the most affordable, most doable. It's the one that we found was like, we can do this. We can do this price. We can do this amount. This works for us,
Yeah.
because we had been looking for several months, and the other ones were really much more expensive. And so we've been really happy with it. There was some DNS work for us on the front end to get
Yeah.
things set up, on the settings, but once all of that got straightened out, we've really, really been pleased.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's, like I said, there's so many services out there that offer too much. So when you're, maybe just getting started into your practice, or you're just a one woman mission looking for a really low cost, efficient option, that's where we sort of like shine. You don't have to be paying for all these extra features that you're not using. We have plans where it's for one email address only. That's your kind of entry level there. It includes your business associate agreement, which is your key component for HIPAA. Then you've got the option to add on these extra features as you see fit. It's not like you have to fit into a specific box that could be $100 per month. We've got some more flexibility because our pride is we want to help you. We're not here trying to, just sell and oversell you these features that you don't need. We want to listen to what you actually need and create the best plan for you and your teams.
Right. And we heard about Hushmail not in the none in the traditional spaces. I just have someone who is a mental health therapist that we have a contact with, who
Mhm.
had shared that this person uses Hushmail, and that's how we started looking into it. It wasn't in an ad, or it wasn't in a blog post. It was another provider office saying this works for us and it's affordable. And so we looked into it, and it's like, well, this is something we could do, and we need it. And I think in terms of firewalls and other things that other companies have, I know it may not be always 100% something that will work, especially for huge corporations that have their own, they don't allow different types of encryption
Mhm.
systems. But that's only happened once or twice, probably in the 100 emails that I've sent in the last month or two.
Yeah.
It's really more the exception than the rule. But
Yeah.
can you tell me about the tech support, program you guys have for if people run into issues? How does that work?
Yeah, so customer service is our number one. So from the very first time you pick up the phone to ask a question about Hushmail, you're going to start with my sales team. There's three of us in the sales team. We're happy to do online chats, emails, one-on-one demos, phone calls. We want to take you all the way through the sales process so that you feel 100% confident in the system that you're signing up for. Then we're going to pass you on to our customer care team, who are just absolute wizards in the technical space. The way their brain works is amazing,
Yeah.
but they are also so quick to get you on the phone. We want to talk to you, we want to understand what your issue is. and then take you through any sort of training, whether that's, a setup call. We can then do one-on-ones for any sort of random issues that pop up. It is really our bread and butter. We just want to help you so that you can then help your clients.
And how long has Hushmail been around, and how did it get started?
Yeah, so Hushmail as an email service has been going for over 20 years now. So when it comes to understanding email and encryption, we're up there. We're definitely experts in what we do for that. And then in the last 10 years, we've been focusing in on healthcare and specifically HIPAA compliance. So even though we're in Canada, the US, kind of anyone in the healthcare industry is our target market. We just want to help, like I said, help people like yourself, other therapists to be online and to secure their communication.
Yeah, and nothing can be more concerning if you have a close call in terms of like, information, confusing patients or having an issue with security and
Mhm.
data. And we have our cybersecurity team, and they were really excited to hear that we signed up with Hushmail, in addition to the other things we're doing here at the practice in terms of, our BAAs we have, on our cloud, and, our
Mhm.
vaccine service and all of this stuff. And it is so nice to have, they were happy to hear that we had, not just encryption, but HIPAA compliant, standard encryption. And I know you mentioned, in an email to me, that there's a beginner's guide for people that are looking to test the waters,
Yes.
explore the idea of HIPAA compliant encrypted
Mhm.
email. Can you tell me a little bit about the guide?
Yeah. So you are already doing super amazing work in your industry. Your jobs are super important. We don't want to take time away from that. So we're not expecting you to be super technical or have access to a tech team. We want you to put your trust in us and know that we've got the encryption under control. You just have to sign into your account, send off an email, and we're going to take care of the rest. So little like guides like our beginner's guide to Hushmail for healthcare, it is a welcome to Hushmail. So we want to educate you through that whole process so that you are comfortable with this level of technology. You don't need a degree, you don't need to be a technical wizard. We're sort of taking the pressure off of that. We're introducing this healthcare plan in a way that is comfortable for you so that okay, this is how I sign in, this is how I send an email. If I'm getting a little error message, I know what to do to solve this problem. So we do have a lot of help guides. We even have help videos or on our website as well. So we just want to make sure that you can be as self-sufficient, because your time is super important. You don't need to be spending extra amounts of time trying to figure out your email system.
Yeah. Yes. And I was just thinking about, 2 years ago, about 2.5 years ago, we launched our practice, and we started in the virtual realm, and then
Mhm.
COVID kind of lifted. And then we had people saying, well, we live in the same town as you. Why can't we meet at the library? So that's why we switched to a hybrid model. We have a physical
Mhm.
location, and then we also see patients virtually. And I found that as I started, getting credentialed with insurances, a lot of companies, they have their physical address, they have their fax number, but they don't have an email listed like in a registry. And I remember saying, oh, I can't wait until I can get HIPAA compliant email so I can put an email address in my registry with these payers,
Mhm.
so that people don't feel like they have to call in the traditional way, or they have to send me a fax somehow, that they can send an email, and that the end-to-end encryption is there. And that way I know if I have this email on the registry and it's a HIPAA compliant level standard of encryption, whoever sends me anything, it, I don't have to be afraid of what people are going to send me on an email. And
Yeah.
So I think that that's the thing that people don't think about when they're opening a practice is getting
Mhm.
on the registry with all of the major insurances that you are in contract with or that you're in network with, so that patients who have that insurance can find you. And
Mhm.
everyone wants to use email.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's something that people don't really think about.
Yeah, for sure. And that's it. Emails for everyone. Almost everyone you communicate with is going to have an email address. So, private clients, schools, hospitals. Email is one of the most flexible online email communication methods.
Mhm.
It's been around for a long time. It's not showing any signs of disappearing.
Mhm.
So, having that email straight off the bat, a secure email, because we see it at conferences. People come up to us and they're like, "Oh, I have a Gmail account. I know I'm not supposed to use it." Or on your websites, you've got at gmail.com. Regular email isn't HIPAA compliant. It wasn't made for the healthcare space. So we want to really help, like you said, you're starting your private practice. Your email should be one of the first things that you're considering.
Yes, absolutely. Do you all go into the texting space at all, or do you just do email?
So not right now, no, we are just email, but saying that email can be on your phone as well. So we've got our own iPhone app. We
Mhm.
also have options to add your Hushmail email to other phones like an Android. And then all phones nowadays have their own personalized notification settings. So you just turn on notifications for your email, then it comes through and it looks like a text. You get a little ping. Bob Smith has sent you an email, and it's very easy to have that quick back and forth communication.
So even clients and patients can use the app, or is it only for providers?
So it's only for providers that can use the app. The clients have something called the Secure Message Center. So they can still access that from a browser on their phone. They're going to receive the email that says, Wilson has sent you a secure email. Click on your link here. That's going to open up a secure web page on their browser on their phone, and they've still got access to all of the same encryption, back and forth communication features.
Okay. All right. And I really have found that it's kind of saved me a few times when it's like, oh, I didn't do the good faith estimate with this patient. Okay, let me send you an email real quick and do a
Yeah.
fillable form, and it's like if 5 minutes I have it back, whereas, my, other technologies we use don't have that feature. So it's
Mhm.
nice that I can make any form that people read, electronically sign and send back. And I didn't know that that was even a feature when my husband initially signed us up, because he's like, well, there's these fillable forms. And I'm like, oh, well, that's not
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely get people's interests start with the email, but then they stay for the forms.
right.
So, we are a 2-for-1 service. We're helping you think about things that you've maybe never considered before.
And I know I read something about templates for different types of emails that we send on the regular basis. I haven't dealt
Mhm.
into that yet, but what can you say about those?
Yep, so this is our new feature that's coming very, very soon. We are going to be offering and compose email templates. So, like you said, your good faith estimate. You could have a template that introduces that form, the form's attached. You forget to send that to a client. You're, heading on a walk with your dog. You're like, oh, I got to quickly send this email off. The template's already there for you, the form's attached. You just send that off, and peace of mind that it's going to be secure, encrypted, and then your client on the other side can fill out their information securely as well.
How did you know I have a dog? How did you know? Yeah. Annabelle's ears are burning back at the house.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I am really excited because I think speech therapists, we have to think about preventing problems. And I mean, if you own a startup that you're building, or if you're maybe even if you're working for an agency and you don't feel comfortable using what your company is is offering, I suppose they could reach out to you all and see what options are there. If they
Yeah.
can link Hushmail up with their company, or they can see about what options would be privately. I did want to mention, I know you all have an office in the US, correct? It's on the East Coast?
So that is more just of a where we're registered. Our
Mhm.
whole team, everyone is based in Canada, but we do have team members on the East Coast all the way to the West Coast. So in terms of availability, we're around about 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific, Monday to Friday.
Awesome. Well, I know that where the companies that we do business with, I know have to be in, if you're in the US, has to have a US, you know, uh link. And so it was important to me to make sure that we met all the requirements for HIPAA compliance. When we found Hushmail, we wanted to make sure everything was above board and just what we needed. And it's nice that there are these other things we've been able to bring into the practice.
Yeah.
And I don't think that everyone thinks about email. They think, well, I'll use my EMR, or
Mhm.
I'll just make a Gmail. But and we use a hosting company that has slight encryption, but it's not
Right.
HIPAA level. That meets the standard of HIPAA compliance. There is no BAA that talks about the agreement between businesses, and
Mhm.
I think that it's really, really important. How can people get a hold of you or one of your team members to find out more?
Yeah, so I think we're going to share a specific web page that we have for our Nice Speech Lady viewers. You'll be able to go through the website there and complete our contact form, and then someone on the sales team is going to reach out. Like I said, we're happy to do an online chat, email, phone call, personalized demo, whatever your preferred method of communication is, we can work around that.
That's great. So the link will be, at the bottom of this video for everyone, a clickable hyperlink to
Mhm.
get in touch with Hushmail, not Hush Money, Hushmail.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I will say I really like it that I don't have to worry anymore. Like I don't have to, it's just one less thing off my back that I've really wanted for a long time. And I'm
Mhm.
really glad that there's an affordable option for companies like ours that's, just starting out. And we're not a huge corporation. We are, growing. And at the
Yeah.
same time, we don't have the resources of these big, huge conglomerates. And
Mhm.
you guys aren't advertisers with us. I'm just sending news out about this because when you hear about good news, you share it.
Yeah.
Um, and I really appreciate your time. Is there anything else about it that we didn't cover that you want to make sure the speech therapy community knows about?
Yeah, so I think just highlighting some key points that if you are looking for secure HIPAA compliant email, that sometimes it's more complicated and even confusing to secure your own regular account. So, an at gmail.com, even with my years of experience in this space, I find it very confusing to try and do some of these other hoops and stuff you got to jump through. So, looking for a dedicated HIPAA compliant email service that offers your business associate agreement included in your subscription. So, you don't have to be paying huge sums of money to add on a BAA. With Hushmail, we've got those entry level plans. Your BAA is automatically included in the healthcare plans. And then also with the online forms, consider how your workflow is. So if you're having to print out lots of sheets of paper, mail, fax, you don't have time to do that. We're all busy people. Our time is super valuable. Consider looking at a service that also includes some version of an online encrypted form. 9 times out of 10, Hushmail is going to be that option that includes your email and your forms all in one place for one super affordable rate. Have a chat with us, get to know us, get to know the company, and we just want you to be comfortable, confident, and happy using our service.
Well, we've been really happy, and we're looking forward to seeing more things that are coming down the pike. And I know that you had mentioned in an email that you've traveled some in your life. You want to just share a favorite place you've traveled to, or something about your own history?
Yeah, so you will detect a bit of an accent. I'm originally from Scotland, but I moved to Canada about 10 years ago, just on a whim. And fortunately enough, I landed my job in Hushmail and was just really passionate about what the company's goals were, the type of people that we were helping. And that ultimately led me to staying in Canada. And now it does luckily get me to travel in and out of the US. So we do a lot of healthcare conferences all over the US. Nashville was a really good favorite I went to last year. And I'm going to be in Philadelphia in November. So yeah, just we're happy to get around. We love meeting people like you and chatting about the service. So if you ever see Hushmail is at a conference that you're attending, we want you to come and say hi.
Awesome. Well, thanks for your time. I think it's something that is important because the fines that come from a breach could cause a business that's just starting out to not be able to make it. I heard once about someone who a name and a date of birth was on a sticky note that was stuck on someone's shoe walking out of the office,
Wow.
and it was a $10,000 fine. Uh,
Yep.
so, it's when you think about it in those kind of terms, just in terms of protection of what you're putting into your business or what you're putting into
Mhm.
your projects, not even talking about the time efficiency things, but just of protecting your baby. I mean, that's what we wanted to do. We want to be able to protect our baby here that we've invested so much in time and energy and sweat and tears. And I think even just like one person provider offices could use Hushmail up to, larger groups of people. So I recommend it because I think it's good to be able to prevent a problem.
Yep, exactly. You weigh up the potential cost of a fine, an action plan, your reputation to the annual cost of a plan with Hushmail. Like it really is no competition. So
Yeah. And a lot of not everyone understands how, I think that the requirements were kind of lifted a little bit under COVID, and now we're back into, we need to do things privately, securely, 100%. This is people's data. It is their private information. We would not ever want it to get it in the hands of someone who shouldn't have it. Even if it wouldn't be someone who would nefariously use the information, it still needs to be private, just like I
yeah,
care about my own information being private. So I think
exactly.
it's an important conversation, and it's nice to be able to, if I'm at a meeting with someone and they say, "Oh, I'll email you that," then I can say, "You know what? I would like you to use this email because this
Yeah,
email is dedicated to HIPAA compliance at the standard of encryption that is completely at the level that we're required to keep." Because now, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. It's like, well, this way I'm safeguarded regardless of what other people do.
yeah, exactly. And you having the confidence in Hushmail, you talking about that with your peers, that back and forth communication, you would then have Hushmail to Hushmail. Like you don't even need to think about it. It's all done for you.
Right. And that's peace of mind. And we could all use some of that, couldn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take a double portion, please. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for joining me today. And if there's anything we can do for you, please let us know. And I'm glad that there are these type of options, and having a technology arsenal, or like our tools in our toolbox to do the
Mhm.
things we do, it just makes things flow better.
It does. Yeah. No, this is an awesome opportunity. I'm so glad to have met you, and hopefully we can help other therapists like you. Yeah, we want to chat. So reach out to Hushmail at any time.
Okay, well, thank you for your time. And anyone who's watching this video, please go to the links included in this YouTube video, and reach out to Hushmail, and hopefully it'll be, the tool for you that it has been for us here at Nice Speech Lady. And thanks, Steph, for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, and there's the interview. Thank you so much. A special thanks to Stephanie Milne out of Canada, who talked to us about Hushmail and how Hushmail is something that is an option for you, especially if you have your own practice that you're thinking of starting up. If you're a staff speech therapist for a large organization, they may have HIPAA compliant email or some type of mechanism. It might be something to chat about and have a workaround so that you can have portability of data and know that you're safe and secure. Want to thank you for joining me. It's been a minute since I've done any sort of video, and I'm thankful to be back in the saddle again. We've been pretty focused here on our clinic. I still want to, though, share information about tools that we're using. It certainly has been helpful for us to have HIPAA compliant email. Wanted to ask you to please go to Nice Speech Lady and check out the resources that we have that are organized in our libraries by area of presentation: swallowing, receptive expressive language, cognitive linguistic, handouts, home programs, ready-made things that you can check out and become inspired by or print out and use directly in your visits. And you certainly, if you'd like, if it's helpful to you, please spread the word and let others know that we are providing this without a subscription. It's just something we're providing to you because we would like to be able to contribute. Please also check out SLP support in Nice Speech Lady. It's a Facebook group where speech therapists can share ideas and talk about speech therapy topics. And of course, when I create new content, I put it in that group. I put the links in there. So thank you so much for your time. I wanted to end the show today with a quote from Helen Keller. "Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence." So I am thankful that you joined us today, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Thank you. Bye-bye.